beauty there, 24. Love you, man. Yeah, look, I mean, I think we all have glimmers of that memory, you know, of that paradise that we have descended from. You know, we all have those innate flashes of, you know, wonderful things that we used to do, you know. It's like, it's there, down there in the archives of our ancient history, you know, stored away, you know, it's stored away down there. And many of us get a glimmer or a glimpse or a feeling or an inkling or a bit of a dream state or something that relates exactly to those realms that we have descended from, you know. Like, I mean, the Bible's very clear, you know, we have fallen from the knowledge of the glory of God, you know, fallen from it. And that means we still have that mind suppressed in unrighteousness, that word of truth that's suppressed in unrighteousness, you know, that Christ in you, your hope of glory, that one that is you is still down there. I'm trying to speak, trying to bring you back to the recollection of the paradise of God, you know. And all of us from time to time get a flash of that. But we have overlaid that precious mind, you know, with layer upon layer upon layer of records in time of separation, you know, those things that have happened in separation. And continuously we are relating to, now we're relating to this this overlay, you know, this corruption, this programmed mind, this carnal mind, this mind of the flesh, you know. And I've been talking a little bit about what the mind of the flesh is. It's like if you look very scientifically at the body, you know, and how the scientists look down at the DNA and they can see that there's a program running there in the DNA. They've taken one strand of DNA and you know, worked it together with a computer, and they find that the computation of that one strand of DNA is working, you know, thousands of times faster and more efficiently than the supercomputers of today. You know, one cell of your body holds about 4 feet or 6 feet, you know, in line. You know, if you were to string out the you know, the DNA strand, it's actually very, very long, and it's a big antenna, you know, and it's a computer. And I think you've got about 666 trillion cells in the body, sort of thing. And so they're all working together, computing together through the DNA. And there's a lot of information stored down there as the archive of your own history, you know. The thing that is computing your reality field on a universal pattern. You know, you're a replica of the entire universe. We all are, and individual replicas that all work together and fit together into a multi-universe or multi-cosmic structure. Could you imagine that every cell of your body is like a powerful computer, and it has recorded and archived every experience of your multiple incarnations, you know, from the beginning of time when you've descended down here through ancestral history. You know, you are the byproduct of all of that recording in your biological body. The computations of the history and the records in time are stored down there as an expression of recorded incidents or events, you know. And you know, we are continuously presenting through the auric field of our body the biological archiving of the recording of history. And we basically, we've recorded the falsity. We've basically recorded progressively ideas of separation. You know, words of dead men have resonated into our biofields. We've downloaded them in as our own programming reality, and we project them out to see the world in the holographic screen of our life, the multi-dimensional screen of expression. And can you imagine that the computation down there is basically all error? You know, the DNA strands of the human is ancestral inheritance. And Jesus said, look, call no man your father, for you have but one man, one father, and that's God in heaven. So we all came from God in heaven, but we've been corrupted along the way. And I was sort of explaining yesterday how the codes of this world, you know, whether it be through food, whether it be through any of the senses downloading into the central core of our computer, you know, as the senses would draw into us the environment around us, and we would bring it in and sort of sort it out as to what we wanted to record for ourselves or take on board. Could you imagine all the stuff that we've recorded down there that isn't actually life-giving frequency? It's words of dead men who've taught us, and spoken to us, and all the sensual inputs, the food. We're talking about food before, and fasting. And I've been through some amazing fasting programs myself, through the direction of the Spirit. And, I became very alive in those times. Could see everything around me, and everything became a totally different world. Because you're not being coded on the outside of the cellular structure. You see, because as food comes into the digestive tract, it goes through chemical changes and breaks down, and it goes into the bloodstream. It travels along as certain energies and codes, chemical codes. It comes to the cell wall, the membrane, and there's certain antenna protruding out from the cellular membrane, and that antenna is trying to attract certain things that it wants for the supply of the cells and nutrition. And of course, the codes coming along come in, start to corrupt the cellular structure, come in and actually reprogram the DNA structure. So the RNA messengers that are flowing through the blood system are actually upgrading and changing the DNA, and the DNA is being sort of degraded, and you are actually producing a different holographic projection as the auric field of your own body and your reality fields all around you, because of the coding of the food. The same with the air, the pollution in the air. You're bringing in codes into your body. The body's about 16% protein. And when you breathe helium, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen in, you're actually getting those requirements to build the protein base of your body. And it's just through the air. You don't really need to eat protein because your body is breathing it, in through that system. And when you breathe higher atmospheres in other dimensional elemental constructs, you're actually bringing in all the elements that you require through the breath, through higher dimensional breathing and internal breathing. What happens on the inside of the cell when you no longer put the codes on the outside, when you no longer receive, say for example, the codes of this world through the eyes, through the ears, through the frequencies, through the food, through the breath, through all the senses, when you're no longer being coded from the outside, and you shut down that sort of process, and you put yourself into a state of fasting, what's actually happening in the body is you're giving your cells something new to do. And what happens, and science has even discovered this, that in the very center core of the DNA protoplasm, there's a substance called histone or high stone, and I like to say it's his tone, and it's like they call it histone, and in the center of this protoplasmic substance emerges like RNA messenger strands that come in and code the DNA. So if you don't code it from the outside, and you give that a break for a while, you let that inner kingdom start emerging through the protoplasmic base of all the multi-dimensional structure. Like if you saw one atom, you see only a part of the atom, but there are finer particles, and there's a deep inner kingdom trying to emerge into the cellular structure of your body. So if you let that RNA messenger kind of thing, or just the inner kingdom, come in and recode the atomic structure from the inside rather than code it from the outside, you would let that kingdom emerge into the transfiguration of your body. You'd be actually recoding DNA strands, which would be producing RNA messenger strands to go into your blood. Your blood would be creating new crystalline substances of high frequency interdimensional communication, and feeding all of the cells and systems of your body with the inner kingdom realities. And you would begin to transmit and extend and oscillate out light frequencies of expanding consciousness through the auric fields of your body, and you would transfigure the hologram around you because you're getting codes from the inside. And this is quite a powerful thing, because we've been shut down through listening to dead men and observing this world of corruption. The more we see a corrupt world, the more we see a corrupt world around us and behold it with the eyes and with the senses, we're downloading that information of corruption continuously, and it's a compaction and a contraction. It's a molecular crushing and a pushing down and a not letting the kingdom come. You're not letting the kingdom come. You're actually suppressing that word of truth in unrighteousness. That word that is in you, from the beginning, because you are the word of God. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word is God. Well, that's you, because you didn't exist outside of it. The matter manifestation of the template of the body is a corrupt program system that's been put in place, over the times of separation. But when you let that Christ in you emerge and start to rewrite the book of life. Now, you are the book of life. You're the walking epistle read of men, written of God and read of men. You are the epistle. That when men would look at you, they would see God radiating out of you. You would bear witness to this Christ in you. And because we've been shut down and suppressed, and we've taken on the programming of the world, constantly, it's becoming incrementally more of a crush, more of a pressure, more of a constraint upon us. And that's why we die, because we can't bring that Christ up within us to get the evolutional cycles of consciousness to evolve the consciousness into higher dimensional structures of thought, which we have descended from. We have descended into density here. We've stepped down. For God to have stepped down as you, for God to have stepped down as me, we must have come down from many higher structures of consciousness, transduction sequences, to come down into an incarnate self in a density in space and time. And so, we have this potential trapped within us, this Christ reality, and it is sort of suppressed through certain constructs of true creation. But the manipulation that's come into the programming of our hologram in the genetic structure of our body, that's been deliberately brought about. What does it say? The powers and principalities and rulers of wickedness in high places. God planted the good seed in the field of our consciousness, but whilst we slept, the devil came and planted his seed. Well, the devil is that thought of separation that's been handed over to us. It's like dead men taught us, and we became dead men. Sin entered in. Sin being separated identity neurosis caused by secondary independent notions. In other words, thoughts of separation came and programmed our field. The devil sowed the tares in the field of consciousness, the field of our hologram, the field of our reality. And as we sow, as we sow seeds of thought into the fields of our reality, we reap a harvest of a witness of like kind. And so, here we are, sort of like in this world, witnessing a world that's false. It's in a state of decay because, we have not got the totality of creative reality. We've only got a little bit of what God planted in us is operating, but mainly what's operating in our bodily form is the weeds or the tares in the field of consciousness. And that's sort of where we're at right now, in a place of saying to ourselves, how do you weed your garden? How do you get rid of all that stuff? It's like people die traditionally. I've seen, when I read history, most people in this world actually let their body go back to dust. And it's because we can't get enough quanta generated in the internal structures of our system, of our hologram, of our temple. We just constantly try and then we die. We try and then we die. We just can't generate enough quanta. And so if you're going to get the living waters flowing forth and the washing of the water of the word of regeneration flowing forth from the inner kingdom of reality, through all the matrices and the makeup of the multidimensional structure of your body, you're going to have to align your body and get those flows moving in the right directions, the right angles of reflection, and the way that the hologram's created actually is quite a marvelous thing, because the hologram of the human body I've been studying this thing called Kathara, and it's light, sound, one. It talks about how creation came about. It's creation mechanics, or 15-dimensional physics, scientific spirituality.